Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day. Make sure you sub, share, like, comment, all that stuff. We got taken the SAT super stoned, right? Or super high as fuck, whatever I'm gonna call this video. I'm not too sure how to word it, but this shit was intense. And yeah, I completely fucked up my chances at going to college just a little bit, right? But I wasn't planning on going anyways. I mean, I went to this broadcasting school for 2 weeks maybe, but let's get into this, right? Because this shit's kind of funny. So for time wise, this was during COVID shit, right? Like when most schools were closed, and our school was closed too. It was mostly all online, except if you had horrible grades, right? Because there were some kids, like me including, that when you were online, you're not doing shit, you know what I mean? Like if you don't want to, you're not doing it. So basically, you know what I mean? They can't force you to open a computer. You can just keep that bitch shut. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I was one of those kids. I was like, no one's making me do this. Fuck this. I'm not going to do it, you know? Which ended up leading me to, all D's and F's, basically. Not all, you know? There's some I was okay in, but, it fucked up my grades, right? So they're like, you have to come in, right? So I go into the building, and there's, maybe 20 other kids out of, I don't know how many are in that high school, maybe 2,000? I don't know the number. It could be more, it could be less, but, there's only, 20 kids in the building, right? And they kept telling us that we're gonna have to do the SAT, pretty soon, or they kept talking about it, right? But me, because it's a bunch of degenerates going in there, we'd go in there and get fucking baked, you know what I mean? And we would do work, we had to do some work every day, but not as much as we should have been, you know what I'm saying? They could have been harder on us, we just didn't listen, yeah, we were a bunch of bad kids, and they put us all together in this room with, a couch and stuff. Of course we're gonna all get stoned and hang out, you know? So, one day, I show up to school, right? And I go to meet up with, I don't want to say exactly my friends, but we'll just call them COVID friends for now, because, they were the only people I saw in this time. So I go in there, and I see, the 5 usual people that I usually talk to, because everybody else kind of did their own thing, but there was, 4 or 5 people where we'd all smoke in the morning, right? So I meet up with them, and this time, instead of going to the bathroom to chief these carts, we're going outside to smoke a blunt, right? So we smoke a blunt, but even though we smoked, I still was ripping my cart, right? Because I want to be, if someone's sharing a blunt with me, I want to share with everybody, right? So I'm handing the cart around, other people are handing the cart around, and we're all just ripping shit, right? Had no idea that we had the SAT today, right? I'm sure they did tell us. I'm not saying it's the teachers, it's our fault. I know that. They probably told us, right? Because they kept warning us it was coming, right? But I had no idea it was that day. So we get inside. I'm high as a motherfucker, right? My first objective is go get a drink. It doesn't matter if it's water, if it's fucking... It could have been anything. I was so thirsty, right? Except milk. I hate fucking milk. So, go get a drink, right? And then go back to my little class thing. And immediately, the moment we get in there, they're like, okay, here's what's going to happen. You know, the normal people in this class, which there's 20, they're like, we're going to split you up into groups. I think it was 4 or 5. I can't remember what it was. And you're going to go with these separate teachers in separate rooms, right? Something about so you don't cheat and shit, right? So they show me to this room I'm supposed to be in. And not going to lie, I had, the best little group that I could have wanted, right? It was just 4 of us guys that just fucked around, right? Nobody gave a fuck about the test. So we get there, and I remember she was explaining the rules, right? She's like, we're going to do this time for this time, this time for this time, all this stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm just high as fuck. I'm just sitting there right? And usually I absolutely hate these, standardized tests, you know what I'm saying? My story yesterday, I literally left rehab, tried to escape rehab just so I didn't have to take one of these, you know what I mean? But... if I knew it was coming, I probably would have avoided school. But I was just so baked that I'm just sitting there fuck it. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's what I was thinking about my score, right? So I remember the very first question. I remember reading it, dude. And it was it was a math question, but it looked like a reading, a English reading question. You know, it was so long. And I remember immediately just thinking, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to skim through all of these, just try to read them. and then I'm just going to look at the answer, and whatever makes sense, I'm just going to write it in, like, all instincts, like, not even trying to put in work, right? So that's exactly what I did. I was just so high I couldn't even focus, right? So I'm just writing. But there were some of them that I knew, you know what I mean? I'm not, like, a complete idiot. The ones I knew, like, where I could read the first couple words, I was like, oh, I get this concept, right? So I would do that, and I would fucking fill it in. I did get a lot. I'm sure I won't want to say a lot, but I got some right. Like, the ones I knew off the top of my head, I got right? But the ones that were a little complicated, where, like, you're going to have to write shit down and pull out a calculator, whatever it is, like, no. I could not focus on that, right? And there was a point where I actually started to get a little rhythm of, like, getting, like, I'd get 2 answers that I knew were right, and then I'd have, like, kind of 3, 4, 5 that I was like, ugh. And then there'd be a couple more I knew, right? The teacher, someone poked their head in the door, right? And they're like, hey, can we talk to you, right? To the teacher. So she leaves, right? I still got my card in my pocket. So I'm like, let me take another rip, right? And this kid next to me is like, can I hit that? I'm like, sure. That was one of the closest calls I ever had, right? Because my hit was fine. I was prepared, right? The moment she left, I took my rips, right? But when this kid was hitting my cart and the teacher came back, he still had it, like, up to his mouth. And he had to, like, slick hand it to me. But it also looks like we're fucking cheating on the SAT, which is worse to me than getting caught smoking, because, like, they'll get real mad at you for that, you know what I mean? I've been caught with weed a lot. I don't want to say it's expected, but you know what I mean? It's not going to kill somebody, but that SAT score, they hate that shit. So, I remember I was just getting baked, right? And then they give us a little break. They're like, okay, you got to come back and do fucking math or whatever it was next, right? I went into the bathroom and just sat there, right? And I remember I was, like, sitting on the edge of the toilet because I didn't actually have to go to the bathroom. I was just trying to, like, lounge back, you know what I mean? And I got my head up against the door because I had the door shut and locked. And I'm just sitting there, and I literally almost fell asleep. Like, I remember, like, having my eyes closed and being like, oh, like, you're not just relaxing. Like, you're going to fall asleep if you keep sitting there. And I go back to class. And, dude, that shit sucked. I remember, though, I don't remember my score at all. I wish I could tell you whether it was really shitty or average or maybe I got lucky. I don't remember. All I remember is, like, a week after that, my counselor was asking me, like, he was like, you should probably retake this if you can. Like, he was just, I don't know if I can even, I don't know if you're allowed to retake it. I don't know if that's what he said. But he said something like that, right? He's like, you could have had a better score, something. I was like, yeah, I don't really care. But I should have. But it is what it is, right? I wasn't going to go to college anyway, so what are you going to do? But another kid, though, there was one kid that, and I swear to you, he had to have gotten a worse score than me. He was, like, drawing on his thing. Like, you know how you have, like, all those numbers and for the answers and stuff, you have, like, the answer sheet? He was, like, writing the bubbles in so it looked like a picture. And I was like, well, you know, that probably is going to give you a worse score. But I also remember thinking, if you did, like, C for every single fucking answer, like, I don't know. You got to get some of them right, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're guessing every time, if you're like, A, this time I'll do D, this time I'll do B, right? Don't you have a better chance of getting them, like, all wrong then? I don't know. I don't know the percentages and shit like that. I mean, it's like a 1/4 chance and a multiple choice, but if you pick the same one every time, I feel like that's a lot better chances of getting some right than no. I don't know. That'd be cool to check out, but thank you guys for watching. If you like that, sub, share, like, comment, all that fun stuff, man. I got some puppy videos I'll post. We got football videos in, like, 2 weeks, September 7th, so that's coming up. And yeah, there's a bee by my door, so I'm gonna end this pretty quick. I hate fucking bees. But okay, everyone be safe. Check out my other videos, sub, and peace out.